Welcome back to the Tuscan Urban Farm. So we are working on this new lantern project. I was just realizing how the most challenging part will be managing to close everything off. I'm thinking probably one of these should remain open. So that one's out of the question because you can't really get your hand in there. This one is pretty tight. This is another one where you can't really get your hand in there. So the only one we can leave open is this side where you can probably work better. And which might also be useful to leave one side open, like for whatever reason. As long as there's only one side open, it shouldn't be bothersome even if the wind comes in. So I've been trying to engineer my video camera or my phone camera, and here let's start doing this. So first off, we're going to get everything super duper wet inside here, like really just coat everything with this really watered down Mod Podge. I'll just do it this way. Helps it run further down earlier, faster. I'm hoping you can see this because of course I can't be watching the camera at the same time as I am doing this. So, or at least not very much, not very well. Anyhow, so here we got the first one in. Next step, I have these already cut out pieces of paper. You see how that kind of just rolls over by itself. I have these pieces of paper like this. I'm not going to be doing anything to them. No ironing. I'm sure you could choose to iron them or whatever you want. I'm just going to go with the flow and do it my way. Because after all, isn't that what Frank Sinatra teaches us to do? When he tells us how he did it his way. So there you go, just positioning this to cover everything up. So then we're going to use the paintbrush and the glue to like really pat it on there, which saying pat it on there reminds me of Pat a cake, baker man. Okay, let's leave the nursery rhymes out of this. So here we go. Just like patting this whole thing down that way. And okay, here I have some water. Don't think you can see it. And here I have the glue. Just pat the whole thing down. Then of course on the inside we are going to have to cover the whole thing. Cover it all up with flatting as well, I'm supposing, if we do not want it to be getting ruined. So what does that look like on the outside? Kind of balloony. Balloony or baloney. So let's just pull this a little bit further back with very delicately using, oops, there you go. You want to be careful not to tear the paper. So you pull it, you use your paintbrush to pull everything back. Now you're seeing how this part here is kind of not working with us, so we'll just take a pair of scissors and cut it. Not that these scissors are doing too much of a good job. Just take some scissors there and cut it. And then make sure that we pat this down real nice and tight. Okay, so that first part is done. And I'm thinking we're going to want to wait for the first part to dry off, the first one to dry off, so then we can go in and cut that off, make sure it's all positioned properly. Let's have a look. The front, not too bad, I wouldn't say. I'll just leave it like that, not be pulling it around too much more, let it kind of stand a little bit more outwards. That's fine. So that is all for now, and we'll get back to this later on when it's, let's just make sure, yeah, we'll get back to this later on. Just make sure. That's one thing, you always have to go back and check that it's all stuck down and not puffing up somewhere with all of its pride. Okay, forget the silly biblical jokes. You have to always make sure that it's actually doing what it needs to do, because especially when you're working with Mod Podge, air gets in, the air bubbles start to form, so you do have to keep checking back with it. But as you can see here, it's getting a little watery right along here, so I want to avoid messing this up and breaking it. So that is all for now indeed, until next time, and then we will be working more on the top as well. Yeah, so ciao for now.